welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Julie Hutsell-Starling. She is a burnout coach, a health certified health coach, and a transformational coach. Welcome to the show, Julie.
Thank you so much, Ajay. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are welcome to the show, Dr. Julie. You are welcome to India in this online form. And not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk. And we are going to talk about, as the ticker says, getting to know the root cause of burnout. And we will also know how to overcome burnout. So, first, to understand from you, Dr. Julie, is that, people generally think that, uh, exhaustion, working, and all that stuff is the reason for burnout. And whereas you say that is almost never overwork is almost never the real reason for burnout. Help us understand. Let's start with this, and then we get to the other points.
Okay, great. Yes, because at first I thought that was why I was burned out too, is that I was working too much. But the thing is that once I changed my schedule and I started working fewer hours and did things to, kind of compress my day so I had more downtime, and I was still struggling with burnout. And that's when I realized, oh, there's something else going on. So the thing that you need to ask yourself is, why are you choosing to overwork? Why are you choosing to have these crazy hours and doing these things? Maybe sometimes it's completely out of your control, but most of the time there are choices. There are little choices that we make along the way that create that situation that we're in. And those are the choices when we are abandoning ourselves, what we truly need, and we give it to others instead. Does that make sense?
Yes, Dr. Julie. I'm trying to understand from a general point of view is that how did this propagate that everywhere when we talk about, working, more working, or you can call it overworking, and then we equate it with burnout. So I'm trying to understand how did it come up when that is exactly not the only reason for workout, or always not the only reason for burnout. What is your view of that?
Well, I think a lot of it is societal programming, programming that we are taught from when we're very small, from family expectations, parental expectations, our peers, schooling, etc. It ingrains in us certain habits or behaviors to please, to work, show your worth, basically, prove your worth. And all of those programs, if you will, really they're learned programs that we take in. They take us far away from who we truly are. We start doing these things that aren't really in character for ourselves, in the sense of not really honoring who we are. So the whole point of getting to the root cause of burnout is really understanding where you have abandoned yourself, where you are no longer honoring you, honoring your body. And the key to healing burnout is to begin to truly honor yourself, honor your body, honor what it really needs, but from a place of self-love. And that's the piece that has been completely missed and completely disregarded in our society.
Right, Dr. Julie. So, as an individual, whoever I am, wherever I am working, whether in a big town, or big city and a small village, how do I know that I am going through a burnout? What are the symptoms for it? And then we'll come to the root cause of it, and then we'll understand the prognosis of it, that how we can exactly move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned at the very beginning the exhaustion, and that is a cardinal sign of burnout. But there's more than that. So there's a lot of other physical symptoms that can happen. So often people might have migraines or headaches, tension headaches, or jaw pain, right? Or TMJ, that when you're grinding your teeth. Those are all signs of potential, like the burnout, because it's the ingrained stress that's going so deep into the body. Digestive problems are also often burnout related, even though you may not realize it, because again, of the stress component that you are taking into your body. And sleep issues. So insomnia is a huge one, not being able to sleep at night, or not waking up, not feeling rested. Those are also big signs. And then there's the whole mental emotional component. So anxiety and depression are huge warning signs. Also, isolation, choosing isolation. This happened to me when I was at my worst. I didn't want to be around anyone. I already was around people all day long working in practice, and it was the last thing. It was like too much bandwidth, too much energy of any type to put out there to be around anyone else. And so I isolated. And that's not good for any of us to isolate like that, right? I mean, we are wired, we're humans, we're wired for connection. So the isolation was a big piece there. And then just in general, a lack of inspiration, a lack of joy. Just the things that you used to enjoy doing, they don't bring you joy anymore. They just feels like a burden, just everything feels burdensome is a big sign as well.
Right, right, Dr. Julie. Help us understand, what about people who do physical labor? A lot of people do manual labor. Do What is that? So they also get overworked, but I haven't seen them complaining, talking about overworked. They may be tired, and they not don't talk about burnout. Is it that they don't face burnout? Is it more with people who are doing mental work? How does that work? In India, a lot of people do manual work. It's everywhere across the world. Why do only educated people talk about, maybe people who have more to do with offices? How does that part work?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up such a good point. It's a great question. So, in regards to, I think the reason why you hear so much about people in, kind of more white collar professional jobs with burnout is it's all over the media. But it's true that, many people do manual labor jobs, and it is very possible that they also are dealing with burnout, right? So, I mean, really, we've heard first about burnout from the medical profession. You heard about it through nurses and doctors, dealing ER docs, people like that dealing with burnout. But the truth is that burnout is pervasive in our society across all levels of socioeconomic status, across all levels of work, types of work, etc. So they are very possibly, there's the exhaustion from the physical labor part, but then when it carries over into, again, that lack of inspiration, lack of joy, just nothing brings you joy anymore, that's when you've crossed the line into real burnout, in my opinion.
Right, right, Dr. Julie. So how does you also talk of spiritual burnout? So let's one is the physical burnout, or whatever we want to call it. And then there's the spiritual burnout. How does that work with people?
Well, when I talk about the spiritual aspect, it's actually healing burnout requires that you heal on the spiritual level. So spiritual, in my perspective, it does not mean any one religion or anything like that. It's about coming home to you. It's about refinding yourself, refinding you, and cultivating a love for yourself. Self-love is absolutely key. And that is the cure to burnout, is learning to really love yourself and honor yourself. That is how you heal. Many people we've been taught in our societies to perceive that as it's selfish. It's selfish to take time for you. It's selfish to do anything for you, right? And so it's very convoluted and twisted. And so it's like we have to kind of reevaluate how we're viewing all of those things. And the real way to cure all of this is to come back home to you. Because the truth is that when you are in your body, when you are honoring yourself, when you are filling your well, so meaning that you're nourishing yourself, right? You're building up your reserves by nourishing yourself, then everyone around you in your life benefits because you have more to give them. You have your joy, you have love to give. But when you're so depleted yourself, you have nothing to give to anyone else. And so everyone around you suffers. So the true key to healing is to learn to love yourself, honor yourself. And by doing that, you will then allow yourself to nourish yourself, fill your well, do the things that you need to do in order to replenish, so that then you can heal and heal the people around you too, just by your energy and your presence.
Right. So you are talking about spiritual burnout or overall burnout?
I'm talking about the key to healing burnout is by tapping into that spiritual aspect. So I think there's a little confusion. So I don't talk about there's spiritual burnout. I talked about the key to healing is actually through finding that spiritual piece of self-love. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And so, if I understand, you also talk about that, self-care or will not be fully enough for taking care of burnout. Now, how does that work? Are these two different sort of burnouts? And what is
Right.
self-care here at this
Yeah.
point in time? For
Yeah, no, great question. And yeah, it because I mean, when you hear conversations about burnout, all you hear about is, oh, you have to learn self-care. You have to learn self-care. And self-care is an integral part of the healing process for burnout. However, self-care is not enough, because you can do self-care from a place of scarcity, from a place of lack, from a place of fear. That's where I was for years. I had a very strict self-care regimen. I had to meditate. I had to make sure I ate the right foods, drank enough water, I had my lunch break, did all these things, or else I wouldn't make it through the day. Here's the difference. I was doing it motivated by survival. If I don't do these things, I won't make it through. If I don't do these things, by Friday, I'll be a mess, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't doing it because I know that that's what my body needs. I know that this is how I love on myself. Do you see that difference energetically? It's a very different energy about it. One is just frantically trying to keep up, managing. Self-care will keep you in management. You'll be able to manage your burnout symptoms when you do self-care. But until you take it to the next level of really taking in that self-love and honoring yourself, you'll never recover fully.
Right. So what is self-care in two situations? One is person who is the white collar job and blue collar job. A blue collar job person cannot stop working if he's feeling exhausted. Or exhausted is still okay, but burnout. How do you then? What is self-care for him or her? In terms of white collar person, how do they take care of self-care? Because there it's all about deadlines. Some people worry much more about deadlines rather than planning out. Some people worry less. So I guess those are fortunate people. I guess here it comes the anxiety part also. So how does that work in case of burnout? How do I still do self-care and still are and not get burnout or say not chase the deadlines or as per what other want, but as per how I am able to better manage it. Help
Yeah.
us understand. Sometimes this can get too confusing for lesser mortals, and I get even you had to
Well,
go
yeah,
through
I mean,
so
I
many
I
cases of
struggle too.
major burnouts, as you yourself mentioned, and so that related with that, and those minor nuggets of wisdom, people might be able to follow them in their day-to-day life.
Yeah. So the number one thing that I recommend, and this is really for white collar workers, that's what I'm most familiar with. So I'm going to speak from that first. So doing they're simple things, but it feels like a huge ask when you are so focused on your deadlines. And it's to schedule a break, schedule a lunch break, and maybe each day it has to be at a slightly different time because of meetings that you have or whatever, but block off even a half an hour, 30 minutes. Ideally, it'd be 45 minutes to an hour where you can just eat and relax and clear your head. Maybe you can do a little bit of meditation or take a walk outside or get some fresh air or something. Because the thing is that when we work straight through, we're actually a lot less productive in the sense that, like, after a certain point, your brain stops being effective. It needs a break. And there's a lot of studies behind this. So even in children in schools, like, they need to have these breaks in order to be more clear. So the same goes for adults. So even though you feel like you're wasting time by taking a break, you're actually replenishing yourself. You'll come back fresher and be able to focus and be more productive when you take those breaks. So that is the number one thing that I recommend to everyone, is schedule in breaks. And definitely a lunch break, but ideally other breaks during the day. One way that I find that it's easy to get people to do that is to make sure you're drinking enough water through the day. When you drink water, you eventually have to get up to go to the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, it forces you to take a break.
Right.
So, little things like that. Drink more water, get up more often to move your body, even if it's just to, whatever, just do a few little circles around your room or your office, whatever it is, just something. Move your body, clear your head. And when you take a lunch break, don't work. Don't look at your email. Don't send text messages. Just relax. Enjoy your food. Just do something that brings you peace and quiet, because that's better for your digestion. You'll digest your food better, and which will give you better energy. And then also, again, it clears your head. It gives you that space so that then you'll come back so much more refreshed for the second part of the day.
Right, right, Dr. Julie. There is much to learn about this burnout thing, and I guess it will take more information one may want to have from you. So, what is the best way people can learn more about this from you? What is the best way for them to connect with you so that they can engage with you professionally, take your help, and help their burnout issues?
Yeah, so going to my website, drjuliehutsell-starling.com, and sign up for my email list, which it says your weekly dose of inspiration email. Sign up for my email list, and then you will you'll receive my weekly inspirational emails, but then also any new programs that I'm offering, etc., will be always in those emails. And so that's the best way to stay in touch with me. And also from the website, you can set up a discovery call with me, a complimentary discovery call, if you are curious and wanting to learn more.
Wonderful, wonderful. I will also add your contact details onto the YouTube description, show notes description, so that people are able to reach you comfortably. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.